up everyone, TJ here. We're back out in California riding Snow Summit and Bear Mountain, and I've partnered up with Snowboard Magazine to test some freestyle boards this week. Today we're checking out the Never Summer Proto Slinger, and in this video I'm going to go through all the tech and I'll share my thoughts on how it feels out here on snow as well. Let's check it out. All right, for reference, before we get into the tech, I weigh around 150 pounds, I'm 5'10", and we're riding the Proto Slinger 153. So this is gonna be a freestyle focused board on the Never Summer lineup. It's an asymmetrical twin, so it is a true twin, but it does have a designated heel side and toe side edge. And the reason for that is that the heel side cut is a little bit deeper. It's gonna throw you into a slightly tighter turn on your heel side edge. And the idea with that is that with our ergonomics, just the way our bodies are, we can naturally get more leverage on our toes. So this is designed to help you out on those heel side carves. It also runs Never Summer's Shockwave rocker camber profile. So this is a rocker dominant snowboard. It's gonna come through with that rocker dominant feel. You're gonna find that pivot point between the feet, really easy turn initiation. Gonna have a slight benefit for float and powder and also be a little bit less catchy just with that natural rocker bend. But with the Shockwave profile, it's a mix of rocker and camber. You're gonna get rocker between the feet with extended camber zones underfoot to give you those rocker benefits, but allow you to load up a little bit more energy and tension in those camber zones. You're also gonna find Never Summer's Power Grip side cut in this snowboard. And the way they do the side cut, it creates some mellow contact points right underfoot. So if you're in like icy, firm conditions, that's gonna help bite down and give you a little bit more grip and a little bit more control, as well as their carbon VXR laminate. So there's a good bit of carbon built into this snowboard to help give it more energy, more snap, more pop. And the way that they laid it into the layup is in a V shape. There's multiple V-shaped stringers going underfoot out towards the contact point. So that's gonna give you more response, transitioning from edge to edge. Also gonna stiffen the board up a little bit torsionally to help make it a little bit more burly, help you stay in control in more variable snow conditions, and just overall give the board a little bit more energy. And the last couple things I want to call out is the dampening features you're going to find in this snowboard. It runs Never Summer's elastomeric underfoot stabilizers is what they call it. They don't really give a ton of information about it, but they put some damping material underfoot to help mellow out vibrations, help you with impacts when you're in the park doing freestyle stuff, as well as their FDS damping system, which is kind of a thin rubber foil built into the layup of the snowboard to help dampen the whole ride of the snowboard overall. And besides that, the last thing I want to call out is that you will find a sintered base in this snowboard, which is known to be a harder, faster, more durable base material compared to an extruded base. You are going to want to make sure to wax this board regularly so it stays fast out here, has a nice smooth glide, but definitely is a higher quality base and nice to find in this higher end freestyle snowboard. So that's gonna be a quick tech breakdown for you guys. We're gonna get these laps going. We'll check back in here in a little while to give you some feedback on how it feels out on snow. All right, let's start off talking about the flex. I'd say the Proto Slinger is going to be just a little bit on the softer side of medium. Definitely a pressable board, but still going to be capable and versatile for riding the rest of the park as well, whether you're looking at focusing more on jib focused riding or you want to hit the jumps as well. That flex is also going to work together with this rocker dominant profile. So you can see between the feet here, we have some pretty significant rockers. It's going to give it that overall shape and feel. That's going to help to give you more leverage for leaning into the nose and tail, making it much easier to get taller presses with less effort, which is always nice and makes the board a little bit less catchy also. But you can also see those camber zones right underfoot. So that's gonna help the board load up more potential energy, give it a little bit more snap and pop once you get used to the feeling of loading this board up with that rocker dominant shape. It's not crazy poppy, but once you get used to loading the tension up in this board, it does come through with some extra boost when you're trying to get this board in the air. I also want to talk about the carving experience on the Proto Slinger, and there's three things I want to bring up. First is the asymmetrical side cut I brought up earlier. So that's that slightly deeper side cut on the heel side edge. And it's not incredibly noticeable, just kind of has a pretty natural feel to it with the way they designed the board. If you're really paying attention for it, you can notice it, but overall it's just comfortable and helps to give you a little bit more leverage on those heel side turns. Similarly for the Power Grip side cut, it's not something that's really noticeable most of the time, but if you do happen to get out there on a really firm or icy day, you are gonna feel it bite down a little bit more underfoot. But those added contact points are pretty mellow, and it's not something that's gonna be at the front of your mind as you're riding this one. And the third thing, which is one of the most noticeable things when you're making turns on this snowboard, is the way that rocker between the feet kind of creates a pivot point. So I think that makes the board even more maneuverable, super easy to transition from your heel to your toe side edge. And because that does give it the overall rocker shape, as soon as you get this board on the edge, it just wants to turn. So super easy turn initiation and pretty fun for carving, although this definitely isn't a carving specialist. You can definitely have some fun cruising around the resort on this board for some more mellow exploring. And I actually found this board to be pretty damp as well. Typically with that rocker profile and not so stiff flex, you'd expect a good amount of chatter in the tips, but I feel like with all the carbon and the dampening tech in this snowboard, it does a pretty good job mellowing that out, and it's not something that's really gonna bother you or hold you back as you're out there. As far as park laps and freestyle focused riding goes, the Proto Slinger is going to be a pretty solid all-arounder. If you're trying to focus on jibs and more technical rail tricks, it's going to be capable of that and progression on that side of things, but still going to hold it down on the jumps as well. Although I would say if you start to go to the largest features in the park and you're getting in those higher impact scenarios, it might lack a little bit of stability, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for hitting the biggest features in the park. Overall, this is going to be a nice board for all-around park laps and a freestyle approach to the mountain for those of you that are looking for that rocker dominant performance. I wouldn't say this is a beginner board, but once you've gotten past those early stages of riding and you've got the fundamentals down and you're trying to focus more on freestyle progression, this is going to be a great choice really regardless of your skill level outside of that. Even for you more experienced riders, it's a super fun snowboard. It just has a natural, comfortable feel to it right from the first lap. I've spent a good amount of time on this board in the Fun Slinger previously, and it's always one that I enjoy right from the first lap. So if you're looking for something like this, check out the Never Summer Proto Slinger. I'm gonna have this board linked down in the description below if you wanna read more about it. Drop a like if you got some value, subscribe to the channel if you're new here. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in a new board review next time.